Come into our studios. Guy who bills himself as the first Emirati rock artist from the United Arab Emirates, Bafuri. Nice to see you, sir.
Thank you very much for having me here.
It's a real pleasure to have you on the show. Now, you're based up in Abu Dhabi, aren't you? Yeah.
Well, originally I'm from Ras Al Khaimah.
Are you really? Okay.
Yeah, but I moved to Abu Dhabi to kind of pursue my dreams, and well, I didn't know what it was then, but yeah, just to study. So now I know.
I mean, I've been watching you on social media, and it's awesome to see a guy, in Emirati dress, born and bred here, with a rock guitar across your lap. It really is amazing. What got you into rock music? How did it start for you, Bafuri?
It started for me very early on.
Yeah.
I heard my first rock song, you could say. I think back in 2004, 3. And then, but I didn't necessarily start playing the electric guitar until like 10 years later. So it was built up in me slowly a little bit.
Can you remember what that first rock song was?
I think it was My Sacrifice, Creed.
Yeah?
Yeah, when it came out. I think 2003 or so.
So when were you listening to this stuff? I mean, were you downloading it, or was it then on cassettes and CDs?
I was too young to download stuff. I heard it on WWF. There was
the wrestling.
Yes, the wrestling,
because they walk into these big rock things.
Yeah. So there was this kind of montage and that song was there, and I just heard it, and it just stayed in my head. And then 3 years later, I was able to download stuff, and I got it. So yeah.
So I mean, listening to all this rock music. I mean, growing up in an Emirati household, what was it like? Like when this music's blasting out your bedroom. Was there any raised eyebrows or what?
It kind of was. Yeah, certainly there was. But then again, there was a lot of we were exposed to a lot of music in our house. From Bollywood music to Michael Jackson to Backstreet Boys to kind of Whitney Houston. So I think it wasn't that odd that rock music came out of it too, but they didn't take it seriously then.
Okay.
They didn't know this will happen.
Are they proud of you now when they see how you can play?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
I mean,
I'd like to believe that, yeah.
I mean, let's talk about that. It's one thing listening to rock music and, appreciating it, but then actually thinking, I want to be able to play this. Talk me through that time in your life.
Well, I started off just listening to rock music, and I was just enjoying the music then. And I think for a long time, like maybe since I started listening to rock music in 2004 and 3 till 2010, where I really thought that wasn't enough anymore.
Okay.
I really need to start playing these songs that I love.
Yeah.
And I did.
So tell me about your first guitar.
Yeah, the first guitar was a gift from my brother. I think, was it on my birthday? I don't remember. It was a classical guitar. And the first thing I did, I went on YouTube and wrote Coldplay The Scientist on guitar, and I just started copying whatever the guy was doing.
So this was on an acoustic classical?
Yeah. Yes, and then I took it from there, just favorite song after favorite song, and that's how I learned.
And when did all the distortion kick in?
Wow.
Because that's your trademark, isn't it?
Right. I picked up the electric guitar in 2013. My friend kind of influenced me into it, and then I started hearing Metallica for the first time.
Right, yeah.
And it sounds bad because, I was introduced to Metallica in 2013, and they're like in their 28th year,
Okay, we all discover things sometimes late in life.
Exactly, it's never too late. And then I really got hooked up on the electric guitar, and still am.
You've got a beautiful instrument there in your lap. What is it? What is that?
It's an LTD ESP Deluxe. Very, very authentic, very kind of cool looking, and even it sounds also cool.
It sounds gritty, doesn't it? Yeah.
Exactly.
Give us a few riffs on that. Let's hear a few. Your trademark kind of sound.
So this is one of the riffs that people know me for. It's from a song called Nicotine.
Yeah.
And that riff, the really got people like, they were like, dude, that riff is awesome. How do you do that? And that's playing in their head, and it's a nice feeling. Yeah.
It's cool. Can you do any flashy stuff as well, up and down the neck there?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, it's a fabulous sounding instrument. What guitarists would you say have influenced you the most?
Guitarists?
Yes.
Well, the more I got into the electric guitar, the more I got introduced to these legendary guitarists. One of them, David Gilmour from Pink Floyd.
Right.
And
he can play a bit, can't he?
Oh, yes. He can play a lot.
Have you seen him perform?
Live? No. Fortunately, I wish. And but I've spent hours, countless hours on YouTube watching the live performances, even back in the 70s and 60s, the very retro video. And also the Mark from Dire Straits.
Mark Knopfler, yeah.
Yes, he's amazing. I want to say Slash, and a lot of people will hate me if I did. But, it just wasn't my thing. I was into kind of very melodic, disciplined rock elements. So I think that's what David Gilmour and Mark gave me.
Now, do you play in a band setup when you go out and play in public, or are you very much a solo rocker on your own? How does it work for you?
I do play a solo acoustically on stage, but I prefer playing with a band, because the songs that I make is very band based. So now, fortunately, I do have a band, and I played with them a couple of times, and we're still going great. Yep.
Because you've done some, I think, the Abu Dhabi Music and Arts Festival, Mother of the Nation.
Yes.
So what were your experiences like on these festival-type gigs?
Kind of mixed feelings, because a lot of people, especially in Mother of the Nations, a lot of people were surprised seeing me on stage at the Kandura and the guitar.
I think it's fantastic. I really do.
Thank you. Unfortunately, not a lot of people share that. So they were like, what is this guy doing? And then, but maybe once I started singing or playing some of the songs that is familiar to this region, to our country, they were like, okay, I know that song.
And didn't you actually perform the national anthem as well on TV?
I did, yeah, I did.
What was that? When was that?
It was, I think, 2017. It was the celebration of the National Day. And I was asked with the choir group to be the lead singer, one of the lead singers. It was me and a girl. She was a 13-year-old girl, but her voice is like very operatic, mashallah. And I was the second guy. So it was kind of an honor to me to do that live on TV.
That must have been fantastic. Yeah. Now, you're going to do a song for us because you've just released your latest album.
Yes.
Tell me about that.
Well, the album's called Time Machine. And I've been holding on to that album since January. And now it's finally out. And it's generally an amazing record, and I'm very proud of it. And I think it's a very personal album than the last one, because I have like shared a lot of personal stuff on a lot of songs. Yeah. And also, it's also a message to the people, and that's what I do when I put out an album. I always make sure all of the songs are for the people. Yeah. And for the people. So they can get the message behind it and get them inspired and maybe help them get out of a bad place.
Yeah, how's it been received then? I mean, are a lot of people downloading this album?
So far, yeah. So far, a lot of people have come up to me and told me that this song is very emotional to me. Like once I heard this section, I started crying, or I started understanding stuff that's happening in my life. And that was a good feeling to hear that. Yeah.
So I think you just got to adjust something on your particular amplifier over there, just to take off some of that distortion, because you're going to do something a little bit more acoustic for us. So tell me the title of the song and what it's about.
Well, let's see if it worked.
Yeah, that's
just loud enough. Yeah.
Yeah.
This song is the title track. It's called Time Machine, and it's very personal to me. The song is very nostalgic, and time machine, right?
Right.
But at the same time, it discusses the issue where you're trying to move on, but the past is holding you.
Okay.
Whether it's your childhood where everything was sunshine and rainbow and perfect. Yeah. But then you have to grow up, unfortunately.
That's the hard bit, isn't
exactly.
it? The growing up.
And you have to face life, and you have to accept it at some point, because a lot of people till their 30s and their mid-20s, they still want to go back and live this childhood. Yeah. But at a certain point, you have to just move on and start a family and,
from, once again, your latest album. Your second album, you say you're working on a new one as well. You never stop, do you? You've got a day job. You know, you're working on all these songs.
Yeah, I do.
And doing gigs as well. So
yeah,
what's the next album kind of direction going to be?
That was kind of a secret, but thank you very much.
Okay.
Well, it will be a much kind of riff-driven kind of hard rock. It won't be this much personal or clean. It would be a mixed dynamic.
So we're going to get a lot of distortion.
A lot of riffs and distortions and heavy guitars and drums.
Right. Yeah. And how would you like to see your music career develop in the future? You know, what direction do you see it going in? And what about the music scene in the UAE now? I mean, it's ever evolving, isn't it?
It is. I mean, the music scene in the UAE has developed a lot in the last 5 years.
Yeah,
and I'm very proud to be part of it, part of this growing music scene. And I know for sure, no doubt, it's gonna get really big. As you can see, these big artists coming in the UAE performing, you kind of know that the music scene is growing because these artists who have never come to this region before, now and they are in their 50s. You know, they come to play here. It's kind of they're grabbing the attention. So. That's my thoughts on the music scene. On a personal level, I really would like to see myself touring around the world. I really hope anyone notices the music that I create, and and I put it in the band, and get an offer to tour in Europe and just share the music and share that even like. As we are growing in other areas as Emiratis in the business and the architecture, we are also developing in the music where even an Emirati, even Emiratis, they are able to, they are exposed to different kind of music and they can also adapt and create their own and different kind of music. And I know a lot of musicians other than me, they are into jazz, into blues, and they're Emiratis.
Yeah.
So it's just it's a fantastic feeling, yeah.
I'm sure it will develop in that direction. Well, before we really thank you for making the journey down from Abu Dhabi to come and talk to us on Dubai Eye 103.8 and play live for us. And once again, if people want to download your music and get your new album, where can they do that?
They can do that on iTunes, Spotify, and Rami. It's my 2 albums are on over 30 digital platforms. Music platforms, so it's Deezer, Tidal, Amazon, YouTube, you name it, it's everywhere. Just search under the name Bafuri and Time Machine or Fall and Rise, the first album. You get it.
Great stuff, and that's spelled Bafoory, Bafuri. Thanks once again for being with us on the show.
This is Dubai Eye 103.8.